So Kendrick Lamar's fiance is biologically black, but she doesn't identify full-time as a black woman, allegedly, then I can't listen to his music. I can't. We gotta stop all this bunny hopping. Black people are at war. You saw what happened to Jordan Neely. You saw what happened to Sonia Massey. You see what's happening to black people all day.
Me, I'm they.
Yeah, exactly.
I gotta do some research.
No,
See, I thought he was just talking about Drake as an individual.
No.
He's talking about us, like black people that are not American, like me. My parent.
I didn't look at it like that. They said Dr. Umar, and I'm paraphrasing. The good brothers brought it to my attention that Kendrick Lamar's song, They Not Like Us, was interpreted by many American Africans to mean that African Canadian.
The internet is going crazy right now. Dr. Umar Johnson is coming for Kendrick Lamar, throwing all kinds of shade, and it's making waves. To make it even messier, his wife is caught right in the middle of it all. But hold up, it gets even juicier. Big names like Joe Budden and Charlamagne Tha God are jumping in, adding their own opinions and stirring things up even more. And of course, people are digging deep into Umar's past, pulling up all kinds of dirt, especially about that school he's been talking about opening for years, but still hasn't finished.
Some very disparaging remarks about black women. And then I was sent another clip a few days ago about some disrespectful, charged comments about what he would do or could do.
This whole situation is a total mess. Race, loyalty, identity, and drama flying everywhere, with receipts dropping left and right. And trust me, this is just the start. So grab your snacks because we're about to break down every juicy detail. Dr. Umar Johnson is coming for Kendrick Lamar's wife, Whitney Alford, and he's not holding back. In a heated live stream, Umar called Whitney a bunny hopper, taking shots at her mixed race background and saying she doesn't fully embrace being black. He went even further, claiming that relationships like Kendrick and Whitney's are sending the wrong message to black men, who he says need to stand firm in their loyalty to the black community. It's a full-on drama fest, and it's only getting more intense. Stay tuned, things are about to get even messier.
No rice, no ice, no spice, no sand, and no salsa. Black queens forever, snow bunnies never. But to your question.
But hold on, it doesn't end there. Umar isn't just talking, he's making moves. He's announced he's boycotting Kendrick Lamar's music, calling the rapper's marriage a cultural contradiction. Umar says that Whitney's background and public image don't line up with the Pan-African values Kendrick claims to stand for in his music. To him, this relationship shows that even the most influential black figures can fall short of living by the principles they rap about. And here's the real twist: Umar's got receipts for why he believes Whitney doesn't fully embrace her blackness. He points to her upbringing and how she's presented herself publicly, claiming there's not enough cultural alignment to prove a true connection to black identity. For Umar, this isn't just about Kendrick and Whitney, it's about how high-profile black leaders need to set an example for the community. Umar's not letting up. He's tying all of this back to his broader Pan-African beliefs, and he's making it clear every part of a black person's life, especially their relationship, should be about empowering the race. For Umar, picking a partner who doesn't fully embrace blackness is a failure to stand strong in cultural and racial solidarity, something he believes leaders like Kendrick Lamar should represent. He says black women often choose a man based on what he can provide financially rather than his role in the community and his masculinity. Umar's seen too many situations where good, supportive men who might not be able to provide a luxury car or mansion get passed over. He argues that's a mistake. Kendrick's new album, GNX, is a perfect mix of personal reflection and cultural punch, hitting deep on so many levels. And here's the real flex: while some people are out here criticizing Kendrick, the legends are showing him mad love. Jay-Z even said Kendrick's artistry is moving the culture forward, and Barack Obama called him one of the most influential voices of his generation. GNX builds on what Kendrick started with Mr. Morale, The Big Steppers, an album that dug into identity, loyalty, and personal growth. But this time, Kendrick is diving into themes of rivalry, power, and what it really takes to stay on top. And let's not forget how amazing Kendrick's last album was. A lot of people are saying it was the best album of the year. Even President Obama praised it, calling Kendrick's music one of the driving forces in today's culture. And when it comes to Kendrick's music videos, straight up fire. He's not just making music videos, he's making cinematic art. Take N95 or We Cry Together, for example. These aren't just visuals, they're mirrors reflecting the world of fame, family, and identity. Kendrick isn't just making hits, he's creating movements, pushing boundaries, and telling stories that go far beyond the music itself. Kendrick's music is more than just beats, it's packed with deeper truths that make you really think. And now with Dr. Umar's criticism, especially the shots he took at Kendrick's wife, it's making people wonder, is Kendrick's silence keeping this conversation going? Could Umar's rejection be about more than just Whitney's identity? Maybe it's something bigger, Kendrick's choices, the message he's sending, or even the way he lives his life. Whatever it is, the tension between Kendrick's personal world and Umar's expectations has everyone questioning what's really behind this fallout. Right after Kendrick Lamar dropped that powerful lyric about protecting black women, the internet went wild. But Dr. Umar wasn't just watching from the sidelines, he came out swinging. He didn't just support Kendrick, he went all in, making his message crystal clear. Umar said black women aren't just the backbone of the culture, they're the entire foundation holding everything together. Disrespecting them to him isn't just wrong, it's a betrayal of everything the community stands for.
Women prioritize a man's income over his masculinity, meaning he can provide. He's willing to help with those children. He will nurture you, look out for you, but he might not be able to put you in a Mercedes. He might not be able to help you with that $1 million mortgage. And I've seen black women.
Umar's whole message isn't about tearing people down, it's about standing up for the ones who keep the culture alive. But let's be real, sometimes you can't help but wonder what's going on with this guy. I mean, how do you call yourself a doctor but don't have an office? And then the man calls himself the King Kong of debate, but I had to remind him King Kong died fighting for a white woman. Yeah, that's pretty ironic. But wait, here comes Corey Holcomb, who wasn't having any of Dr. Umar's criticism. He stepped up, being straight up and honest about it. Corey pointed out that Kendrick, as a black man in the spotlight, has a responsibility to lead not just through his music, but in how he represents the culture in his personal life. He didn't back down, calling out the hypocrisy of attacking Kendrick's marriage while ignoring the fact that Whitney Alford has been there for Kendrick from the start. 50 Cent wasn't about to stay quiet with all the noise surrounding Kendrick Lamar. As the drama unfolded, 50 jumped right in and flipped the conversation back to Kendrick's artistry. He made it clear Kendrick isn't just a rapper caught up in drama. He's a cultural icon, creating music that stops you in your tracks and makes you think. While Dr. Umar is over here criticizing Kendrick's wife and Andrew Schulz is stirring the pot with his wild comments, 50 said it's time to focus on what really matters, Kendrick's massive impact on hip-hop and the culture. Kendrick is constantly challenging himself, pushing boundaries and doing things no one else is doing. His music is what we call conscious, it's thoughtful, deep, and has shaped the culture in a way we can't overlook. Things got way messier than they seemed after Kendrick Lamar dropped that bar about white comedians staying out of black women's business. Andrew Schulz didn't hold back and quickly made some jokes that a lot of people felt crossed the line. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Not long after the drama unfolded, 50 Cent went on Schulz's Flagrant podcast. On the surface, the two kept it light, joking around, but fans couldn't ignore the tension. Everyone knew Schulz was still facing heat for his comments, and it left people wondering, was 50 there to address the drama, or was he just staying in the media spotlight? So here's the deal. Andrew Schulz, an outsider who's gained support from people like Charlemagne the God, jumped into the conversation and said Kendrick's lyric was the clapback the culture needed. But Dr. Umar isn't having it. He argues that Schulz is exactly what's wrong with how outsiders profit off black culture while dissing it at the same time. Dr. Umar went as far as saying, "I don't listen to Kendrick's or Drake's music. It's not personal, I just don't connect with the newer generation's sound. I'm still bumping Tupac, Naughty by Nature, and Big Daddy Kane." Dr. Umar has been throwing some serious shade at Kendrick Lamar and Whitney Alford, accusing them of not being loyal to the culture and not holding themselves accountable. But here's the twist, his own record isn't looking so great either. He's been raising funds for years to open the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy, a school he promised would change the game for black children. But guess what? The doors are still locked. There have been endless delays, broken promises, and no real results to show for all that fundraising. People are starting to call him out. Dr. Umar's been out here calling out the hip-hop community, even accusing them of betraying Black America. But here's the thing, while he's pointing fingers, his own track record is raising a lot of questions. Over the years, Umar has raised millions of dollars from supporters who believed in his dream of opening a school for black boys. People believed in his vision and donated, thinking they were helping make something big happen. The back and forth between Dr. Umar Johnson and Kevin Samuels is turning into a full-blown mess, and people can't look away. It all started with Umar going after Kendrick Lamar and his wife, Whitney Alford, questioning their loyalty to black culture. But now, Kevin Samuels has stepped in, and he's not holding back. Kevin wasted no time calling Umar out, saying that while Umar talks a big game about loyalty and building a school, he hasn't delivered on his promises. Instead, Kevin argues Umar is using speeches and lofty talk to distract from the fact that the school he's been raising money for doesn't even exist yet. And Kevin didn't stop there, he went further, pointing out that Umar is quick to critique Kendrick's life and choices, but his own credibility is crumbling under the weight of unfulfilled promises. It's getting messier by the day. Umar clapped back, accusing Kevin of profiting off people's insecurities and tearing down black women for a living. Umar claims that Kevin's platform is no better than the outsiders Kendrick called out in his music. Both men are throwing punches, dragging each other through the mud. Things are really heating up, right? Dr. Umar's been going at Kendrick Lamar. There's drama with Joe Budden and Kevin Samuels, and let's not forget the whole unfinished school project situation. This drama's got layers, and it's definitely keeping everyone on their toes. So here's the big question: does Dr. Umar have a valid point about Kendrick's wife and cultural loyalty, or is he just deflecting from his own issues? And Kendrick, his silence, is it a power move, or is he just staying out of the mess? But wait, there's more. This whole thing could spark bigger conversations about accountability in the culture. What do you think? Is Dr. Umar right, or is he just stirring the pot? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, smash that like button, and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss anything. And don't go anywhere, we've got an update coming that you won't want to miss. The silence surrounding Dr. Umar's school project is honestly deafening, and people are starting to notice. Social media has turned this whole situation into a public spectacle, with everyone waiting for answers that just never seem to come. Kendrick Lamar's fans aren't holding back either. They're calling out Umar, pointing out how crazy it is that he's criticizing Kendrick when his own school project has been nothing but empty promises. TikToks have gone viral showing the school still sitting there, abandoned, while memes have flooded the internet making fun of Umar's endless fundraising efforts. The irony is hard to ignore. While Kendrick is out here dropping powerful albums about race and identity, Umar is stuck fighting off jokes online. Dr. Umar Johnson's school, which was supposed to be a beacon of hope and progress for the black community, has instead become a huge question mark on his legacy. People who donated millions are still waiting for results, and it's starting to feel like Umar might have been more about collecting donations than actually building the school. His constant promises to open this Pan-African school have only led to more broken promises, and now critics are starting to speak out, asking tough questions about where all that money went. The longer this goes on, the harder it is for Umar to shake off the doubts people have. And just when you thought things couldn't get messier, Dr. Umar started taking shots at the Hebrew Israelites, causing even more drama. On a recent live stream, he accused them of ruining the Pan-African movement. According to Umar, their ideas are dividing the black community instead of uniting it to fight against systemic oppression. He says their focus on exclusion is pulling attention away from the bigger goal of bringing everyone together to take on the real issues. Umar Johnson's been making waves, but now it's getting real messy. People are calling him out for being just as divisive as the issues he's criticizing. From his feud with Kendrick Lamar to his harsh comments on interracial relationships, it's clear Umar isn't afraid to stir the pot. But now, it's sparking a bigger conversation about unity within the black community, and social media is eating it all up. On one side, you've got people saying Umar's critiques are needed to move the culture forward. On the other side, critics are calling him a hypocrite, arguing that it's hard to preach unity when he's constantly taking jabs at other black groups and leaders. Even other community figures are stepping in, urging everyone to focus on solutions instead of getting lost in the drama. And just when you think things might cool off, Kevin Samuels jumps back into the mix. He wasted no time calling out Umar, reigniting their long-standing feud. Kevin's not letting Umar off the hook, making the situation even more intense. It's like the drama is only growing, and now it feels like personal grudges are driving the conversation more than anything else. Umar Johnson has been talking about opening the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy for years, but Kevin Samuels isn't impressed. He wasted no time calling Umar out, saying he's all talk and no action. Despite all the speeches and money raised, the school is still just an idea with nothing actually built. Samuels pointed out that Umar's been making big promises, but hasn't delivered anything tangible, even after all these years. But Kevin didn't stop there. He took aim at Umar's personal life, pointing out the hypocrisy. He reminded everyone that Umar, the man who's been preaching about family values, has 2 kids with 2 different women, but never married either of them. Kevin made it clear Umar can't be out here criticizing Kendrick Lamar's marriage and loyalty when he's been failing to walk the walk himself. Of course, Umar didn't sit back quietly. He fired back at Kevin, calling him part of the problem and adding more fuel to their long-standing feud. The situation just got messier, with both men now throwing jabs at each other's credibility. It's no longer just about a school or a marriage, it's about whose words you trust, whose promises you believe, and who's actually doing what they said they would do.